Premier League Game Week 11 is the focus for today's episode of the Predictions Show. And as always, we're going to be putting together some sensible selections backed by data. I'm going to share all of the key insights and metrics from my own research. And I've also got a new secret tool to show you as well a little bit later in the video. So stay tuned for that. We've got 5 games on Saturday, some absolute crackers, including a lunchtime kickoff between Tottenham and Manchester United. That is where we're going to start. I've got a bet builder all ready to go for that one. But first, don't forget to write. Is this a little song that I'm doing now? Anyway, don't forget to put your predictions in the comments. I read all of them. Look forward to seeing them. If you're new here, subscribe, hit like, all that good stuff. If you want a Sunday's video, you know the drill by now. 1,000 likes is the target. If it gets hit, I will be back here doing the same thing for Sunday's Premier League games, and there are some brilliant games taking place. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. We start with the 12:30 kickoff, of course, Tottenham hosting Manchester United, and the pressure gauge, the pressure pendulum, shall we say, swinging a little bit now. Ruben Amorim doing much better recently. That guy's still not getting a haircut anytime soon, but Thomas Frank is under a bit of pressure. The XG is super low at home. That will need to change. They come into this off the back of a Premier League defeat to Chelsea. Yes, they got a win in the Champions League, as they should. If they had lost that game, then my word, the pressure really would be on Thomas Frank. Defensively, they are better this season, but there is something missing going forward. Can they fix it in this game against Manchester United? So we start by looking at the data, and we can see here 10 games played. They've got identical records after 10 games. The difference is the goals scored and conceded. The goal difference +9 for Tottenham, and that comes from their defensive record. As I just mentioned in the intro, they've conceded just 8 goals, whereas Manchester United double that, 16 goals. Can they keep a clean sheet in this one? I'm not so sure they can. I think this Spurs side are very well set up to exploit the spaces left by this system. Now, that's not saying that Manchester United won't have any joy in this game. I think they can. Now, something worth noting, not if you're a Spurs fan, is this. The home form against the away form. Away from home, they've been almost perfect, really. No defeats, 4 wins out of 5. Away at Brighton, that's a tough game, understandable, fair enough. You didn't win that game, it's a tough place to go. But at home, just 1 victory, and it came on the opening day of the season. Now, what is even more worrying, I would say, is this. We can look at the results tab and go to XG4, and we can see that in every game since that opening day victory against Burnley, they have failed to amass 1 XG at home. They've played Wolves, they've played Bournemouth, they've played Villa, fair enough Chelsea. This needs to improve for Thomas Frank and Tottenham. The referee for this one is Samuel Barrett, and we can take a look at his Premier League record so far. 5 games played, he has produced 5 cards in the first half compared to 21 in the second half. That is a pretty big swing, isn't it? 4.2 cards on average per second half so far. He's booked both teams in every game that he's played, and over 2.5 cards has landed in 5 out of 5 so far. Now, here is a bet builder. It's blurred at the minute because I just want to run you through some more data for both of these teams from the last 10 games. BTTS has hit in 8 out of the last 10 games for Manchester United. Manchester United have also scored in the first half in 7 of the last 10 games. For Tottenham, that number is 6 out of 10. United have been out-cornered in 8 of the last 10 games. This means their opponents have had more corners than them. Tottenham at home, certainly last season under Ange Postecoglou, were the corner kings, and this season they're not doing too bad either. They're averaging 11.6 corners in their games at the moment. That is total corners, of course. So here is my selection, my bet builder for this game. BTTS, Spurs to get the most corners and both teams to receive a card, 3.25. We don't have to call a winner. I think if I did have to call a winner, I would be leaning towards Manchester. Nah, I would be leaning towards Tottenham in this game. I think it's a big game. Next up is West Ham against Burnley. West Ham. And we're going to take a look at their fixtures because they come into this with a very, very good win against Newcastle. The first win under Nuno. And they are actually looking for back-to-back wins. These don't count in the summer series of the Premier League. I'm sorry, that doesn't count. Back-to-back victories for the first time since February when they beat Arsenal and they beat Leicester City. 2 clean sheets in a row as well. I don't think they've done that in a while, have they? Probably the last time they did that as well. Under Nuno, you will expect them to stay up this season, and these are the kind of games that they must win. But it might not be smooth sailing with Burnley. Let's take a look at their away games. We can see the recent away games, every single one of them has gone over 2.5 goals. They beat Wolves away from home, that deemed to be one of the final nails in the coffin for the manager there. He is out at Wolves, Pereira. They've scored 3 away from home. They've scored 1, 1, 2 and 0. But if you watch that opening game against Spurs, they were very good. They were very good in the first half. They could have had a couple of goals, really, they could. And look at the away run. Spurs, United, City, Villa, Wolves, fair enough. And now they go to West Ham. There's no easy games, as people say, in the Premier League. BTTS is at 1.83 and over 2.5 goals is actually a value bet based on the OddAlerts probability model. It is over evens with quite a few bookmakers, as low as 1.88 with win. So peaks of over evens 2.03 with Pinnacle, Cloud Bet 1.91 with Bet365. And because this is a value bet, I think it might make it on to our selections for the 3 p.m. games. The next game, which we're going to check out, is Everton against Fulham. Now, our probability model is favouring Everton in this game, 40.5%. Let's do a simulation, shall we, on this video. We get a 1-0 Everton win. 1-1, also the most common scoreline. 1-0 not far behind, 12.16% of the simulations there. We run 10,000 simulations. We can also ask OddAlerts AI to give us some information. But what I want to show you here is Fulham and their away record as of late. It's not very good. That's not just what I want to show you. I want to also show you that 8 of their last 10 games have gone BTTS. There have been a few clean sheets at home recently for Everton. I think it is 4 clean sheets in the last 10 games, and they've lost just once. That was to Tottenham recently on the 26th before they then went back home and had that terrible game and terrible time against Chelsea. And we saw with Tottenham, their home and away form is sort of chalk and cheese, isn't it? Well, Everton will be really hoping to turn their new stadium into a bit of a fortress, and they will want to bounce back, no doubt about that. The overall form for Everton doesn't look great. Just 1 win in the last 5 and just 1 win since August. David Moyes may come under pressure, but looking at the teams that they've played, City, Spurs and Sunderland away, that's going to be one of the toughest games for most teams. Now, BTTS is an interesting market for this game, 51% chance. So it's pretty bang on in terms of the model and what the bookmakers are saying. You can get value if you can find odds of around 1.97 or higher, but it is marginal. Bookmakers thinking in the same way. There is incidentally lows of 1.87, 1.85. I think this is going to be the one for me. Fulham are a good team. They can get the ball forward. They can score. And Everton are conceding at the moment. They've conceded in the last 6, 7 games. No clean sheet in 7, which for Everton, you know, last season certainly, clean sheets were a bedrock of their overall season performance, but not so much this season. So over 2.5 goals in the West Ham game and Everton Fulham BTTS. Let me know what you think about this one, and of course the bet builder for the Spurs game. Get your predictions in the comments. I look forward to reading them. 3.64. Yeah, I'm feeling it, really I am, because I think Burnley play without fear away from home. They've scored in the majority of their games, as we saw. West Ham will be looking to build on a fantastic win, a win that can really springboard a whole season, that victory against Newcastle. And then Everton, Fulham, Everton expected to score in every game in that new stadium this season, expected to be on top and play without fear. But Fulham, as we saw, 8 out of 10 away from home recently have ended with BTTS 3.64 for the 3 PM games. Next up, it is the Granit Xhaka derby, and we've got Arsenal away at Sunderland. Arsenal are chasing a 9th consecutive clean sheet. Absolutely insane. Now, they do score a lot of goals in the first half. They've scored in the first half in the last couple of games. Then it was 0-0 against Brighton, 1-0 at Palace. If we just look at their away games, they have scored or seen a goal in the first half in the majority. Now, we have a value bet based on our new first half goals probability model. And the value bet is for it to be 0-0 at half time. If we look at Sunderland's games, a few of them have had a goal, a few of them have not. But with the way Sunderland play and the way Arsenal play, and given that they play Champions League, I think that the odds of 3.5 for it to be 0-0 at half time is worth a single. I am going to be going with that. It is a value bet as per our new first half goals probability model. And just a quick plug, if you want to enable automatic alerts for the first half goals model for over 2.5 goals, BTTS, team goals, you can head to the funnel page in the description and you can use the code YouTube for 15% off. You can edit your settings, you can say which markets you want, which level of probability, and you'll get automated, always on alerts that look like this. So you can see the value straight away, the odds have increased, the probability was high pre-match, and it's a fantastic tool. Feel free to check it out over the weekend and use the code for 15% off. Now, back to the Premier League. Let's take a look at the probability model for this one quickly and wrap up this game. Under 2.5 goals is a value bet at 1.96 odds. You could see this going the way that Arsenal games usually do, which is a sort of 1-0 away win or a 2-0 win. Just depends. If Sunderland score, Arsenal will probably score again, and then it will be over 2.5 goals. The draw is also a value bet based on the model, and there has been a few 1-1 draws already this season, and a few more draws of other scorelines for Sunderland this season. But of course, my selection for this one is 0-0 at halftime, 3.5 odds. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Now then, the final game of Saturday. Remember, 1,000 likes and I'll be back here on Sunday for Sunday's cracking games in the Premier League. Chelsea against Wolves. How many of you are moving Chelsea players into your fantasy Premier League teams now that Wolves have sacked their manager, conceded 22 goals? It's very strange, isn't it? How this can happen after this happened when he came in. It's very interesting, very strange. Of course, they've lost players over the summer. They've maybe not recruited as well as they could have. Losing Cunha was massive. He was a big part of their team. Strand Larsen being injured at the start of the season as well. A big hit for them. Chelsea have scored in each of their last 10 games. There's been a red card in about 6 of those 10 games, which is just bonkers, really. And an interesting stat again for the Chelsea game is that they have scored first in 7 of their last 10 games. So some potential value bets here for this game. Under 2.5 goals, again, based on the model, is a value bet. BTTS no is a value bet at 1.83 if you expect Wolves' decline to continue. And Chelsea to win at half time, 1.81. Can they get another early goal? Can they take the lead? Can they score first? Maybe just the score first market, a little bit less risk just in case Wolves come back as Sunderland did. Chelsea did lose the previous game, of course. 1.36 of the odds for Chelsea, so that's why I'm not really touching the game. I think they will win this one. And we'll probably put a bet builder together for this game in the Discord. So if you're in there, feel free to connect and check out the pre-match channel. And that has been that. That is the video. If you've enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more of this type of content. And I'll see you in the next one.